Welcome, boys and girls. I'm Brian.
I'm Craig.
And this is the manual freaking Supra. Take it away, Craig. By the way, nice shirt. Really like that.
Yeah, you too. Looks good.
Where'd you get that?
Somewhere.
I got it from my mom. Where'd you get yours?
My favorite mom.
Oh, hi, Mom. Anyways, this is the blue Supra, which is all that really matters is blue, right? Well, because we've had gray ones forever, whether it's press cars or people that we know, they're all gray for some reason. Bright colors wear well on here. But the most important part about this one and the update for 23 is the manual transmission.
Wait, now, what? What?
I know.
What?
Go look.
What?
There's the proof. Yep. GR Supra, baby, which means great transmission. We can argue that later, and we're going to do it when we drive because I've actually been perplexed a little bit with this car because the 8-speed auto is so good. I'm not saying you get that one. I'm just saying I might understand why you would. So let's leave that there. All right, let's start with the wheels. The most important part in my mind, the only real update on the exterior are the 19-inch forged aluminum wheels.
They look good.
They look awesome. They're light and very, very strong. Of course, they have the same Michelins wrapped around them, which are basically glue. Every day I leave the driveway, I just find rocks I didn't know existed on the road. It flicks them up. But also the brakes are massive. They are a one-piece rotor still. Let me show that real quick. They are not a vented hat. And I know a lot of people that buy these cars that are serious about tracking, they'll go to a two-piece rotor, then you're good to go. But for street use, these are great. No complaints there at all. Coming around the front, you have the same clamshell hood, which I think is really cool. It comes all the way down to the fender there and to there, so you don't have this seam going down between the fender joint that's visible from inside the car. That's awesome. I really like that a lot. Let's just get to the good part. Let's go to the hood. I'm gonna show you underneath that. You gotta pull that latch twice, Craig. Do you know why?
Because it's a Ford.
It's a BMW.
Oh, it's a BMW.
I mean, Toyota. Sorry, Toyota. Well, we can show you here. So there's Toyota logo right there. Yeah. And about 12 inches over here, there's a BMW logo. Don't worry about that guy. Don't worry about that guy. Anyways, moral of the story is, if you're gonna get together with someone to make a car, BMW is a good place to start. Not complaining there at all. This is the B58, which has become a bit of a legend and a bit of a underappreciated motor by a lot of people because you find it in X5s. You find it in X3Ms. M4s and M3s are based on this, are a little bit different, but based on
Boring 5 Series.
Boring 5 Series.
Ineos Grenadiers.
Exactly. The good news, Craig, is this thing is a freaking nuke, especially in this package because the car is very light and nimble. God, the inline 6 is such a good platform. Oof. Glad it's here. Glad Mazda's copying that for their future products. Really happy about that. The good news is here, Toyota insisted that the Supra was an inline 6, not some V6 turbo, not some hybrid nonsense. They wanted an inline 6. And the only way to do that was with BMW. They did a great job. Whew, coming around. We have LED lights with the triple beams. They work really well. Auto high beams, no complaints there. You'll notice this emblem, just an emblem. There's no radar, Craig.
Huh.
Which means there's no radar cruise control, which I find really perplexing on a car like this because we know that it can be done. Now, there are radar sensors everywhere. These little dots, if you never knew what that was, that's actually sonar. So when you're parking a car, and it has a really cool sonar readout on the display. When it goes off, I mean, it looks like you're in the water with something. It's
yeah, you drive by a pole, you know where the pole's at.
You know it's here and not there. Like it's really good. Check out this vent right here. You see that?
You mean non-vent?
That's not a vent. That's just a spot. But according to Toyota,
it could be a vent.
The aftermarket will solve that. So that's good to know too. Bring it around. Cool looking mirrors. I like them. They're really good at scooping air right into this area. So when the windows are down, well, you just can't drive with the windows down because all you hear is blah, 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 blah. But if you're doing under about 25, it's okay. And actually, if you just crack it, it's fine too. Look,
that's the move. Just crack it.
I'm being petty. That's dumb. This car is awesome. I'm just trying to find things to be upset about.
That vent works, right?
Yeah, that no, that one's.
Well,
yeah, but Toyota also claims, Craig, that the aftermarket will solve that.
It's going to vent into the interior?
I'm not quite sure why or how, because then look right here, it goes right into the sill. Well, the amount of work to make that a functional brake duct is just whatever.
Well, this is a functional vent, though.
Oh, no, that was not either. No, that was not either.
All right, well, never mind. Let's just move on.
This kind of is. It grabs air.
Yeah, that's good.
Pushes it in the air. Yeah. Now, we can't complain when the Civic Type R exists, so the previous gen at all.
We're being silly.
Right. Now, one of my biggest critiques of this car, and I'm not joking now, this is an actual problem and also a beautiful thing. I love how the roofline tapers down. It's smaller here than it is there. That's a really cool look. The GTR does that. Some other cars do that. I love it. The problem is, when you fling this thing open and Craig's gonna cover it in the interior, the gap from here to here is also really tight. And so when you get in, it takes a little bit of yoga to get in there, but it can be done. And once you get in, it's actually pretty good. Craig will cover that in a second. To the back, to the back. It is a hatch. That's the great news. I love hatchbacks. You could almost call it a hot hatch, not really, but people say that. And all you gotta do to open it is hit that button on the door inside the car or have the remote on you. I do think it's silly that Toyota has made a point that every year there will be an update to the Supra. This year it's the manual transmission. I like they're keeping it fresh. Maybe in 2028 we'll get a freaking button right here. That's a little bit silly. Now, all out of the way, we've got all our camera gear in here. This panel comes off. You've got two 10-inch subwoofers built in down here, and they actually bump really well. And the only bad news is that because of the sexy shape, it's really narrow. So you really can't get bulky things. But if you're going on a couple's trip for the weekend, that kind of stuff, it's got you covered, no big deal. Home Depot runs, depends what you're buying, you never know. Come on down. Two things I really love down here, three things actually. The valence looks really cool. I love the diffuser, I think it looks awesome and purposeful. The F1 style backup light, God, I love that.
It matches the F1 style nose.
It matches the F1 style nose. It also matches the Velociter in third taillight pretty well as well. And also the true dual exhaust, not only do they look good, they sound good.
All right, time to get in this car. Brian talked about the roof line of it, and I'm just gonna try to get in with my normal seating position. Let's just see how this goes. So let's just do a normal swoop. Let's just get in, and well, that's not gonna work. The seat's too far forward, and wait, you know what?
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, hang on, let me go over here.
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna show you. The good news is BMW gives you memory seats, 1, 2. So
Toyota.
I'm sorry, Toyota. So I'm gonna hit 1 because that's Brian's seating position, which works well for me to get in. It's called easy entry, easy exit.
Oh.
Other cars kind of do it automatically, but this works. So now we can still do a smooth get in, right? Just one. Well, no, I still have my head. So I get in first, I get my butt in, and then now I kind of reposition and I get my head in. Okay, we're in.
Here's the good news. Now you look so cool.
Yes. All right, get around the other side. Okay, so now I'm gonna hit my memory button, get back to my driving position, because once you get hunkered into this sucker, this thing has very sporty intentions, and you feel like Mr. Race Car Driver driving this, and that's where this thing is cool. And so you got a beautiful steering wheel. I love this instrument panel. I know it's a bit of but you can actually touch it. Like that's actually physical. It's actually cut out the tack. I can touch the tack and the temperature readout. I don't know. That's kind of cool. For those of you buying these, Toyota Supra has never had a BMW. You might have trouble figuring out how to get the tripometer readout. There's actually it's on the light stock. That makes sense. You hit a button there that says BC. Who knows what that means? I think it means brake check. But anyways, you hit that and you can toggle through your distance to empty and odometer and all that fun stuff. Other than that, it's a lot of BMW switchgear in here, but it's got a Toyota badge, so that's nice. This is not a hole, but it's a good spot to sit. Like Brian said earlier, auto high beams work great. You do get a volume knob. Thank you, Toyota. That is very nice. Here's the problem with the volume knob. I'm going to point this out. Again, very sporty intentions in this car, which means, and we'll get in this ride and drive a little bit, but you're doing like this a lot. And then you try to hit it's kind of hard to hit the volume button. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but also, Brian, look, dual zone climate control. Do you see that? Dual zone climate control. So I can turn this up to 70, 80, and that one, sync. No, that's max. No, auto, no.
We forgot the rubber band, Craig.
Yeah.
The serpentine.
So the forums to solve this. You put a rubber band here, and then you turn this one. It turns out with 2. Problem solved.
Yeah.
So there's that.
None of this matters. What's that?
We get this. This is where it's all about. We'll get into the ride and drive. Brian and I are split a little bit on how good this is. We both agree we like it. We'll talk about that more in a minute, but it is just good engagement. The clutch pickup point is nice. It's crisp shifting. Oh, yes, the ZF 8-speed auto is nice, but we're going to talk more about that. This is what it's all about. Other than that, cup holders are maybe not the most convenient, but it's a sports car. Who cares? You just put it behind you and you do this when you want to drink. You know, it's just part of it. That said, it's very sporty. Let's go see how sporty it is on the road. All right, Brian. Time to see how this GR manual boogies. Hit it!
That's the best part. Wait, hold on. We have our modes, Craig.
Oh, I'm sorry. Toyota, BMW. Go ahead.
Sport, VSC off. That's it. Ready?
Okay, hit it!
Wheel spin.
Oh, a little wheel spin.
Ooh, the shifter stayed on that time, and 60.
And 5.03 with 2 of us in it.
We just, before we started filming, did some test runs. Out of 3 tries, 4.1 to 60.
That's incredible.
Motor Trend got 4.4.
That's incredible.
That's incredible. So we've done this with the automatic before, and 3.9 is what we got out of it.
Yes.
So for reference, some of the changes, and let's get into the mechanics real quick. Really all we're talking about here, because we've reviewed the Supra before.
Yep.
Go back and check that out if you
Nothing-
want, like
really
interior
nothing
stuff. But mechanics. This is a ZF 6-speed.
Yep.
The same company that brings us the brilliant 8-speed HP that is in everything that we like, including the automatic Supra.
Right.
This is straight from the Z4 BMW. But Toyota's done their own shifter. And this shift knob that actually popped off my hands just a second ago, not on camera, not broken thankfully, just money shifted, that's what happened. Toyota went through 3 different weighted knobs to get to the one they wanted.
Okay.
They started out with a 80-gram knob, then they went to a 120, and they went to a 200. That's what's in here.
200-gram weighted knob.
Exactly.
Okay.
So they tuned that because I thought the BMW one was too vague and they wanted more throw in it.
Okay.
And it has that.
Yes.
They also changed the bushings on the shift linkage in there, so it's a little bit different. And this is where you and I have been arguing all week.
Yes.
And I want to admit, I've been wrong. That / the transmission is broken in because this car's that
Well,
new.
hang on. Tell them what the argument was.
Argument was when you're throwing from neutral to a gear, you felt rubber, and then it notched in, and it didn't feel linear. So from the throw from neutral to in gear, changed mid-stroke, and it was driving me. It wasn't natural. On the first day, I was like, "What is going on?" I was having trouble getting it figured out. Not that it wasn't undrivable; it's just it wasn't as intuitive as a lot of its competitors.
But this is a very new car.
Right. We now have 2,000 miles on it, and we put about 500 miles on it in the week, and it feels way better today than it did 3 days ago.
Exactly.
So it is good.
It is.
I want to admit. And some other changes they had. The final drive in this is numerically taller than the automatic, and that is in part to keep the performance gap closer, because let's be honest, autos are better for straight line performance.
Well, you also had 2 more gears to play with in the auto.
They're stacked together,
Right.
and the biggest difference I'll say is if you are I want to do highway runs, I just want to go fast, straight lines all my jam, and looking cool.
Yeah, Texas 2K.
Texas 2K, get the auto, moon tune this thing, you're gonna love it. And because there's no gap between gears, it's just bam, 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 bam.
And Brian, we've already talked about ride and drive before in the other review. This thing handles incredibly, although it's not the smoothest ride. It beats you up a little bit.
Right.
But I think it begs the question, this car we know is going to solve our question we always ask each other. Would you rather have a bad manual transmission or a good automatic?
Bad manual. And not this is not a bad manual, but it's just not my favorite one on the planet.
Sure.
Absolutely get the manual. It's just not even debatable.
And that's been the argument the whole week we've had this. Because the previous review of this, we had the ZF Auto, and yes, we both loved it. It's quick, it's great on the track, it's great on highways. Like, man, this is an awesome car.
Great, yeah.
So we kept wondering ourselves, like, why does the manual make sense in this? Why get the manual? So
I don't know.
Let me ask you that. Does the manual make sense in this car?
Man, I'll be honest with you. There's going to be a lot of people that don't get the manual. And I'm not necessarily going to fault them because it's one, it's generational, 2, it's what did you go with the car. I will say on a back road, I'll take the manual any day.
Yeah.
Any day.
Yeah.
I had a good run on a back road this morning, and all of a sudden it clicked and I went, yes, that's where this works. In daily traffic driving, like any other auto versus manual,
Sure.
this isn't like a Volkswagen or a Mazda. It's not quite as smooth.
It's not.
On low speed stuff. This is, I'm going to upset some people. At low speeds, this is not really a fun car.
Sure.
Because it's serious. It's German roots come out.
It wants to go fast.
Yes, and by the way,
it begs you to do that.
it is good at that.
Yes.
When it comes to triple digit stuff, I don't know what hangs with this in this price point. I don't think anything does.
We know the vets struggle with it.
The Vet has actual aero, and the non-Z06 motor isn't as special as this.
It's not.
And doesn't feel as powerful. And look, this is 282 or 382 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Bull. I'm calling that at the tire, maybe. I think it's 4 at the tire, honestly.
Yeah, it feels like it.
Even the readout reads higher than that number on the in-car readout.
Right.
So that's one thing. As a runabout fun car, if you have a semi-urban commute, an 86, a GR86 makes a lot more sense to me. It's cheaper. You've got actually, not much of it, but you do the back seat, and it's more playful. It wants to step out. It wants to dance with you a little bit, and the shifter's a little easier to live with. Not this is troublesome. This is not a playful, let's kick the tail out car.
This one's fun in that it wants to murder you a little bit, or someone else.
And exactly. When and that's probably my only real critique as driving. Its zone of grip to slip, in between.
It's hard to ride it.
Right, it's hard to ride it, and that's really it. But when it grips, my God, it's awesome.
It hooks well, and it just, every time you push it hard, you're like, oh, I can push it a little further, and then you push it a little further, and oh my, this car, and you keep pushing it far harder.
Yeah.
And you're like, this car's incredible.
The problem is when you find the edge of that envelope, you're at dead speeds.
Yeah, you're dead.
Yeah, so
again, it wants to murder you.
It's a little bit Viper in that regard.
All right, Brian, my last question for you. 2023 for about $60,000, is this the best fast car you can get?
With a manual transmission?
Oh yeah,
I beg to differ, and I've got an alternative. Stay tuned to the next episode for that.
Okay.
I think I've answered that. For manual transmission fast cars in 23, this is one of two.
Okay. Okay, there's not very many options.
With that, stay tuned. See you in the next one.
Yep. See ya. Check the socials.